It's right. You start carrying on. Yes, sir. What's the
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll start our meeting in 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay. Hey, Jordan. This is great. I've got a great... Man, that couldn't have been placed any better. Hey, Mom. How are you? Oh, man, how you doing? Welcome back. Happy birthday, too, by the way.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's good to see everyone this morning. It's our first meeting in the month of April. We got getting our April showers out there. And we'll bring about rain flowers and weeds. Ladies and gentlemen, down the hands of our April 6th Burgess, Lisa Leonard.
First meeting of the Mobile City Council Tuesday, April the 5th, we have approval of minutes from March 29th. Appeals, we have requests for waive the noise ordinance on April 30th, 9:30 a.m. until 3 p.m. This is in Tricentennial Park. June 4th, from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. is Herman Sage Park. April 15th, 9:30 a.m. until 12. In Spanish Plaza, Benwood Square, and Cathedral Square. May 5th, from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m., Cooper Riverside Park. May 14th, from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m., and this is on Blackburn Street. May 10th, from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m., Arlington Park. May 22nd, from 12 p.m. until 5 p.m., Melville Park. April 17th, from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. in Lincoln Park. Public hearings, it is a public hearing to rezone property located at the northeast corner of Hallsville Road and River du Chêne Road from B3 to I-1.
And then with that, Mr. Reynolds.
Yeah, Mr. President. This one has to be held to May 3rd. There's a change that needs to happen. This has to be re-advertised. So I don't know if anybody's going to show up here today for the public hearing, but if they do, I'd really like for this public hearing to go to May 3rd.
What's some changes with the new?
Yeah, what it was there was an agreement between the developer and the neighboring property owners that we agreed to, and then it went to planning commission, and planning commission approved something different outside of that scope. very minor, but it's important to the neighbors that the rezoning have the language of an 8-foot wooden privacy fence rather than just an 8-foot fence with a chain link mesh on it. So unfortunately, the only way to resolve that is to hold this thing for republication. Unfortunately, I hate it.
Question from anyone? Madam Clerk?
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. William Bryant, to introduce Eagle Scouts and the state of scouting. Bobby Blank, Byron name on 15th, July Irby, Mobile Youth SB Games and Awards. CFP resolutions held over. 13-285, authorized change order number 3 with Johnson Washington Construction Company for Baltimore Street, street and drainage rehabilitation, increase of $216,711.38. Resolutions held over 08286, approve purchase order to E-Builder for annual renewal of project management software. 08287, authorized purchase order to Samsung equipment for Peterbilt garbage truck. And also 08288 to Samsung for garbage truck. 08289, approved purchase order to Kane's Tree and Landscape for tree removal. 08290, approved purchase orders for fuel for Wade Transit. 18291, determine necessity for condemnation of certain lands. Track 18 for widening up McGregor Avenue. 21292, authorized contract with Hexagon on-call records for software products and services for MPD records management system.
Madam Clerk, I know last week there were some questions, and we do have a representative present this morning. Does the council have any additional questions for the rep? No additional questions? Madam Clerk?
37293, consider approval of certificate of public convenience and necessity to Edwards Automotive doing business as Premier Transit to operate a sedan service. Ordinance is being introduced, 64018, rezone property located on the northeast corner of Halsey Road and Woodbridge Shane Road.
So we're gonna take this up today and just go ahead and table it, correct?
No, today what we're gonna do on this ordinance is we'll go ahead and take it up. I'll offer the amendment, which is to add basically 2 words. And then we will then hold the ordinance over until May 3rd.
Okay, so just 2 words. Okay,
Unfortunate.
all right. Okay.
Consent resolutions being introduced, 03297, reappoint Richard Davis to the History Museum of Mobile Board. 58298 and 299, authorizing removal of weeds and assess cost for removal of weeds. Weekly groups 1626 and 1623. 6300, approval award special bonus to firefighters of the month. Resolutions being introduced, 01301, authorized agreement with the Architects Group for improvements to Rainier Park and Public Safety Memorial Park, $223,938. 08302 and 303 are approved and purchase order for fuel for various locations, and purchase order to Syntec Systems for annual warranty and support for Fuel Master Fuel System software and equipment, $16,637.50.
Excuse me.
21304, authorized contract of Osprey Initiative for citywide stormwater litter collection and analysis services, $146,000.
President. 21304, this is essentially level funded in year 2 and 3. So let's say the Osprey Initiative goes out and does a fantastic job, as we know they will. And we decide we want to allocate additional resources to them that exceed the year 2 total of $300,000 or the year 3 total of $300,000. How would that be handled? Would it come back to us for our approval, say if we wanted to expand their services further? Because I expect we likely will.
It will, through this remaining of this calendar year, fiscal year, excuse me, we've been funding that out of the stormwater fee, which is an appropriate use for it. But because we see it as a recurring expense, we're actually going to roll it into the 23 actual budget for an O&M piece, so that'll free up a little bit more of the stormwater fee, but it'll be in the budget budget, so it's still the same money. But yes, it would have to come back if we wanted to expand the services for an increased amount, whatever that scope is, anything above $15,000, of course. So I think we could have that discussion as we get ready to prep the contract for '23 budget and see what we might want to do in the budget for that amount.
And so we'll do the '23 budget in August. We should have a pretty good feel for how these guys are performing. And really, it's the section of their contract where they're going a little further inland and cleaning out some identified ditches that I guess you all would identify to them. And if we find out that that works very well, then we should be prepared to amend it at budget time, so maybe their services, maybe even some contract or something like that.
And Rosemary, I think Rosemary's back there, right?
Right.
Any additional comments on that?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. The Public Works and the environmental team, we're gonna work with them to determine those locations, and depending on how that goes, if there's additional. And, there's a second contract coming next week that's gonna be the litter boats themselves. That's the in-water removal. This one is for the 12 litter getters and 3 Mile and Dog River watershed. There's litter interceptors that are in inlets, and this is for the ditches themselves and also for the litter trap. That's what we're looking at this week through the end of this fiscal year.
Sure, I appreciate that. I guess the point is just that, I think the new portion of this that hasn't been performed in years past are those select ditches. And if we find that that is successful, I just hope that we're all prepared to expand that if possible.
Sure.
Thank you.
6305, authorized settlement agreement with and release of claims. Call for public hearings, 41306. Call for public hearings, rezone property located at 93, 95, and 97 North State Avenue from R1 to B2, scheduled late.
Mr. President. Okay, this is not, you got something on this particular. All right, so the call for public hearing for this rezoning that is showing on our public hearing today and as an ordinance, first read, we need to call for that public hearing today, so I've asked that we simply move from the public hearing that we're having today, move it to being called. Because we're gonna try to approve this thing on May 3rd, so we gotta call for the public hearing today.
Yeah, because it's been advertised.
We just need to add that to the, that's it, thank you.
Days?
There will be a meeting of the City Council's Finance Committee today in this room at 1:00 p.m. Finance Director Holt will be with us. We're going to get a preliminary look at the FY23 budget process. We're going to talk some about the city's long-term debt, particularly with respect to the Gulf Quest. And the other thing, Director Holt,
You asked me about the History Museum.
history. So that'll be at 1:00 today in this room. Thank you.
Anything else from the council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Jones?
just one question. And Councilman Carroll asked this last week. I've had a couple of questions with regards to the wave transit routing. Who does that, and how do we get some answers to questions on that?
Yeah, the Wave Transit is run by Damon Dash. He's First Transit. We have a contract with him to do the routing. And so he looks at the amount of personnel, amount of people that use the routes, and he makes changes accordingly based on, in order to provide resources to where they're most needed.
Have we looked at anything since gas prices spiked the way they have? I think what's driving the questions is people are looking for alternate methods of getting around town, and you're finding that the bus routes, in some cases, are quite lengthy. It takes an hour and a half to get from Cottage Hill downtown.
Right.
So how would we go about doing an assessment on what those are?
Well, I know that he's constantly looking at that. I can ask him to take a look to see, take another look and see if there's any changes he would want to make based on the increase in gas prices. And then, but he is
Great, thank you.
Anything else from the council? Anything from the administration? Now, let's see, go ahead, Terry.
Glad I came.
Ricardo.
I need to see him too.
Can I see you for a minute? Can I talk to you for a minute? Oh, yeah.
How do you like that?
I really want you to.
Oh, oh.
Oh, yeah, I was. Hey, Mayor. Yes, sir, how's your vacation? This is true. This is company that's coming in. Yeah, no, well, give or take a couple minutes. We're good to go, right? Long time ago. That's gone about 2.5 years. They bought out Enterprise out of High Speed. Yes, sir. Yeah, and Mobile County, you know, has been using our CAD now for about 17 years, you know, probably just just brought that up. That way we can tap in with the records. And that's one of the things that always been wasn't able to happen. So now you're going to have a lot of data change,
And I don't know if Scott took the lead on it. I was going to reach out. I'll reach out to y'all. So they give you all notice that we can have a contract.
Well, as soon as I have a signed contract, whatever that is, it'll. That's right, so as soon as that's done, we will schedule, well, I'm already talking to those guys about that time, we'll come back down, probably in a couple of weeks. Thereabouts. Sit down, kick the whole project off, bring the project team, bring them with me. We've got a project manager, be running the whole project, make sure we're sticking on timelines. We say we're gonna do what we're gonna do, and we'll just do that. We'll be there. I mean, they gotta take it. You don't need to get There's gonna be other.